Alright guys, today I'm going to share with you a conversation that I just had with tennis guru Slavy
And then from
Alenkov.
there, boom. Okay? You see how much natural lift I get, and I'm pretty unathletic, and that was a lot of natural lift.
I wanted Slavy's advice on Vince's serve. Vince just got his first ATP point and we're looking to continue to improve his serve, help him to climb the rankings. I called you because I want some advice for my boy. I posted like a couple of videos on trying to get his elbow a little bit higher and in line with his shoulders, throwing it forwards because he used to be really low and just go straight up. So that's better.
So, Vince, not only is your elbow a little bit low, but it's also to the inside a little bit. So if we can get the elbow back, it's going to give you so much more power. So we want this elbow to be in a position where you feel like you can throw it up and forwards. The racket's going to lag. You'll probably get a better and deeper racket drop, and you'll have, essentially, it's lag. You've got to...
Yeah.
So the throwing motion, I think, is a little bit better. Also, trying to rotate the shoulders and rotate the arm and the racket around the body so you can see more pronation. You can see the racket head sort of overtaking the arm as he rotates it around because it used to kind of just be this kind of move. Better. I don't know. He looks like he's sort of shrinking into himself. It just looks like it could be. Looks like I want to stretch him out a little bit, but I'm not really sure exactly which bit to stretch out or what he needs to sort of activate to get, up there and look like he's a tall guy, you know? I want him to
Yeah.
look like a giant.
All right. Well, let me address some of this stuff before I get into some demonstration here. So, he definitely looks a lot better at the elbow height. I know we've had a conversation about that. It looks pretty good. Like the throwing motion looks more succinct. It looks more it works into itself a lot better. So I think the upper body, for the most part, from the stomach up, looks fairly good. Fairly good. I think one thing I would improve on that part of the body is at the very end of the serve. It kind of looks like he's second guessing still whether to hit his shin or not. I think that's partly just muscle memory from before or something. But what he could
What do you
do.
mean hitting his shin?
Well, there's a little bit of hesitation there at the very end. I don't have the video in front of me right now, but I just remember like the tip of his racket kind of like wobbles a little bit into his shin. Doesn't hit it, obviously. But it kind of like goes in and out again. So I can tell there's some muscle memory left over from that. Maybe he used to hit his shin in the past or something.
The other
But what
thing,
I'm
the other thing he was struggling with is jumping forwards into the court and then backing out without continuing the motion of his right leg overtaking his left leg.
it's really
Right?
important that he gets that down.
You land on your left, right leg comes forward, then you push back. He was skipping that bit. So he was landing on his left and then
Yeah.
just backing up. So maybe you're seeing hesitation in him not completing that move. And I'm trying to get him to complete it, but it's a bit half-hearted sometimes.
Possible. If you notice what his foot's doing here, his right foot isn't overtaking his left like you'd see with the greatest servers in the world. He's rushing that movement to try and drop back behind the baseline, and in doing so, he's not fully completing his service motion, which is really hindering his ability to hit a great serve.
Yeah. Look, but anyway, that's really minor. But if I move further down, the biggest thing that I start looking at every motion really is I start from the legs. I start from the ground up, right? The foundation of the motion. And if that's not perfect to me, the rest of there's a lot of knock-on effects that go further up the chain. So I like to take a look at the foundation first. And what I'm seeing is there is a very, in my mind, extreme orientation of the feet towards the back corner of the court. And so what I'm seeing is partly why all this crunching is happening and all these knock-on effects in my mind is this orientation, because he's putting in so much energy into trying to quickly rotate that foot in the air to straighten it out for the landing, that it's taking up a lot of the energy that otherwise would be directed forward, further up the chain and eventually into the contact point. Does that make sense to you? So he's so focused down there. Normally that wave travels through the body, and the body experiences kind of like a whip, a whip effect a little bit, and then eventually, it does crunch a little bit at the very end once you activate the abs and all that. But I think the energy is not even getting there to have that whip effect. So yes, he has the rotation. Yes, he does the upper body throw motion pretty well, but I just don't think any of the energy from the legs outside that initial jump is really making it into the service motion. Like, even though you need to separate from the earth, from the planet, right, on at striking, you still want to feel like you're drawing energy from the ground into the serve. And I just don't think that's happening. So let me show you what I mean. All right. So I don't know if you can see here. I'm gonna put you on the table, Starbucks table, and I'm gonna be in front of everybody, embarrassing myself. All right. So
I miss the days of us going to the same restaurant and
can you see my feet?
doing this.
You see my feet?
Yeah.
So his feet are oriented that way, right? So he's here, and now he has to do all this, right? Okay. You see, like, how much I'm exaggerating, obviously, right? But you get my point.
Always, yeah.
He puts so much energy into trying to twist the lower body. What's actually going into the serve, right? It's like, okay. So what? So basically, that's what we're dealing with, right? So what I'm thinking, right? What I was talking about is being able to bleed, being able to push some of that energy from the legs into the upper body to have a stronger, more posture oriented with a straight spine and everything. Rotation of the upper body where the energy comes in from the legs. So, something more, if I were to point my feet a little bit this way, because interestingly, he starts that way, but then through the motion, right, he'll shift the heels forward. Okay. He'll shift the heels forward. But if he doesn't, if he just stays in this position, keeps the heels in the same place, then you can still rotate your upper body, right? You can still go here. You don't have to rotate the feet. Still rotate the upper body, right? And then from there, boom, okay? You see how much natural lift I get? And I'm pretty unathletic, and that was a lot of natural lift. Right? Just because I positioned my feet correctly, I managed to do that, right? Otherwise, all my energy is just going around trying to be a spinning top. So I think it's about getting that earth to help you, boost the rest of the body into actually being able to have enough energy to execute the chain. So those are my thoughts.
Perfect, man. Good. No, really good. I didn't notice. I've not really noticed it. But it makes sense. Yeah, he's putting a lot of energy into twisting instead of exploding up. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's like think of it this way, right? If you have a whip, okay, you want the base of the whip, the handle, right? The first bit, the thickest part of the whip, to travel the slowest. What kind of whip are you going to do if you just quickly move the hand? None of the energy is going to end up transferring up to the top of the whip, to the thinnest part of the whip, right? If you just quickly do the motion, nothing's going to happen. You have to do it slowly to make sure that energy is being transferred further up the chain of the whip. So if you're moving your base that quickly, that's not going to be a lot of transfer in there. That's another way of thinking about it. Maybe a more visual kind of analogy.
I like it. There's definitely something there that is really Russian. Because I think it's because he's trying to come from here and throw it forwards. It's rushing it a little bit as well. Because it didn't used to be as rushed. When he used to drop his elbow and then just everything used to go up, he used to be just straight up, just everything was going that way. So now he's driving this way, but
Yeah.
and it is a little bit more rotation to rotation, because that's what I'm all about, is, loading and transferring weight from the back foot to the front foot and having everything more rotational, which I think does fix a lot of issues. But at some point, you got to transfer that to going up and getting it. So he's gone from straight up to spinning around quite quick.
Right.
And
Yeah,
he's
especially the lower body.
stopping
Like I
and
don't mind the upper body spinning around quick. Like that's okay. If you can handle it, if you can handle a quick upper body rotation, like go for it. But I just think the lower body, if you have the lower body outpacing the upper body in rotation, I think that's a big problem.
Makes sense.